everybody, and good evening. I hope you're having a wonderful time today and you're enjoying your weekend. It's actually Saturday evening here in Wellington, quite cold and wet, but at the same time, just a bit relaxing. Sometimes the cold weather is also good. Anyway, before everything else, welcome to the first webcast of the Tarot Zamm show. Since this is the first webcast, it will be very much like a learning experience for me and hopefully also for the audience, and in such a way that with your feedback and input, we will continuously tweak the webcast to your interest, to your liking, and so I'm very open to suggestions. You can always email me your thoughts and suggestions, and we'll work towards it. Before we start, the week has been quite heavy. I mean, for animal lovers out there who are following news on Facebook with regard to animal welfare, I'm sure that you have read a lot about Save Lennox campaign. Just to give you a brief, I am just going to read a very recent news from the irishtimes.com, which was posted earlier today, Saturday, July 14. It says, "Breed, not deed, sealed Lennox's fate." Okay, this was written by Jerry Moriarty, the Northern editor. An international campaign to save the life of a pit bull type terrier in Belfast failed this week despite appeals from Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe. Lennox was put down on Wednesday morning after more than 2 years on death row. Countless late calls for a reprieve for the 7-year-old Belfast dog, including one from Northern Ireland's First Minister Peter Robinson, left no impression on Belfast City Council. There was Irish and some British media interest in the annual 12th of July convulsions in Ardon in North Belfast this week, but the big international focus was on a small house 400 meters away from the Flashpoint area on Disraeli Close, off the top of the Loyalist Shankill Road. That's where Lennox's owner, Carolyn Barnes, and her 14-year-old daughter, Brooke, live. It is a home that loves dogs. There are lots of doggy ornaments around the house. Out in the backyard are Juicy, a 6-year-old boxer, and George, an 8-year-old Yorkshire Terrier. Barnes also fosters dogs from sanctuaries, and she has worked as a vet's assistant. She's a responsible owner. Her animals are licensed, microchipped, DNA registered, and insured. Anyway, to make the story short, it has been a grueling 2 years for everybody, most especially the family of Lennox. They've been trying so hard to appeal and gather support worldwide to change the mind of Belfast City Council regarding the fate of Lennox. He was removed from his home in May of 2010 just because he looked like a pit bull. I think some countries, including Ireland, and I think also in New Zealand, they have this BSL, which is the breed-specific legislation, a law that bans or restricts certain types of dog based on their appearance, usually because they are perceived as dangerous breeds or types of dogs. Anyway, a lot of people are saying that the breed-specific legislation should really be reviewed, and people are also saying that it is quite unfair, okay? Based on breed-specific legislation, they say here, breed-specific restrictions may require an owner of a targeted breed to do any of the following or more depending on how the law is written, which is quite basic. So, like, muzzle the dog in public, of course, spay and neuter the dog, contain the dog in a kennel with specific requirements, keep the dog on a leash or specific length or material, purchase liability insurance of a certain amount, place vicious dog signs on the outside of the residence where the dog lives, etc., etc. However, okay, why is the breed-specific legislation wrong? According to the website, BSL does not improve public safety or prevent dog bites. BSL ignores the plight of victims and potential victims of non-targeted breeds. BSL is costly. BSL requires each and every dog to be identified as a breed, something that has proven impossible to do accurately and objectively, most especially because there are so many mixed breeds out there. Okay, BSL markets targeted breeds more desirable to irresponsible and criminal owners. BSL does nothing to make irresponsible dog owners accountable. BSL punishes responsible dog owners, and not a single canine welfare organization supports BSL. It is really quite tough because I also believe that Lennox was a victim of some misunderstanding. And the reason that I am also really appalled by what had happened was towards the end, on the day that he was put down, okay, it was just really so harsh to prevent the family to even see him, visit him, retrieve his body after. And the Belfast City Council just said that they will be sent some ashes. So people now are talking and thinking, hey, hold on, what's happening here? And is really Lennox put down on the said date, or has he been gone for a long time and sort of like all hush hush? So it leaves you a lot of question. Not to mention that Victoria Stilwell, the star of a series, TV series like It's Either the Dog or Me or something like that, even intervened and wanted to help, offering all expenses paid, taking Lennox from the UK to the US and placing him in a sanctuary. But everything was in vain. The Belfast City Council was just not cooperative at all. They just declined straightforward, and during an interview they said they were just implementing the law. That is understandable, but there's really something wrong how the law was carried out, and also how how Lennox was removed from his home just like that. And most especially questionable was the expert that they had Lennox assess. There are videos online if you would like to know more about the story that really show that he was not a threat at all, even from the person, vet warden, who claimed that he was so aggressive and something like he was very scary and one of the scariest dog or fiercest dog she'd ever seen, something like that. But anyway, just go online, check what had happened, and if you think that there is really something wrong, join the thousands of people who are now asking for an independent review or investigation about what happened to Lennox. This is really very harsh and questionable, most especially because there have been many victims out there. We really need to sort of like look into the law, and yes, laws are there to guide people, but at the same time, it's how we execute the law that makes a difference. Maybe we should focus on responsible ownership instead of the kind of breed, you know? If an owner cannot be the alpha member of the pack, then they are not meant to have a breed that is always looking to follow the alpha member of the pack. Otherwise, of course, they will be overpowered by the dog. But what I'm saying is, if you're responsible, if the owner is responsible and knows what they're doing and very much following what is required, then we question the issue about taking a dog from his family. And the fact that Lennox, when he was videoed while in the supposedly care of the Belfast City Council, he was just in his cage, trapped there, caged all day with just the sawdust for his beddings, and the place, his cell, was full of his, feces, and it's just really so awful. We think, what kind of people would allow another creature, another living being in such a condition? Some people would say it's just a dog, it's very political. It's not a matter of it's just a dog or it's political. It's a matter of what's right and what's wrong, what's morally right and what's morally wrong. I'm not trying to be self-righteous here or lecturing, but you know what is right. You feel it in your heart, what is right. So anyway, just search the web and look into more details about what happened with Lennox. We go on to the next part of this webcast, which is the weekly focus. So what is the weekly focus? The weekly focus is about trying to gauge the energies around us for the coming week. And through the tarot, we will draw one card for each day for the whole week, which is 7 days, so 7 cards. And the cards will show us the stronger tendencies or the stronger energies around us, so that we can either take advantage of it or sort of like improve our outcome, and just be aware of what the most probable possibilities out there for the coming days. So I'm just gonna shuffle the cards. And by the way, the deck I'm using is the new Paladini, and I'm just gonna get 7 cards here. So this will be the focus for July 15 to July 21st. Tomorrow, which is Sunday, the focus is about the King of Swords. So what is the energy with regard to the King of Swords? The energies tomorrow would be encouraging us to look at the decisions that we have been trying to avoid or trying to delay. So the tendencies would be focused on proper decision making. What you need to do basically with the King of Swords is try to decide based on the information that you have. Be very practical and logical about it. Do not let your emotions rule your decisions, because with the King of Swords, by being logical would ensure a better outcome of any decision that you'll make. If you try to be overcome by your emotions, then it would be tainted. It is not what the circumstance or the situation might call for. Sometimes when we decide, the emotional part of it is very important, but the tendencies tomorrow would help you if you just decide logically. Of course, it depends, but if you feel that the King of Swords is applicable in your circumstance tomorrow, then do so. Okay? Use your mind. Use everything, the information that you have. Do not be emotional about it. People might find you cold, but if that's what's gonna have the job done, then just do it. Decide. And most of all, with the King of Swords, you also need to try to be fair for all those concerned. The King of Swords is about clarity, fairness, practicality and logic, really rational approach. On Monday, we have the Six of Swords, which is basically focused on people who are intending to travel. So when you want to travel, then make sure you prepare everything that you need to bring with you. Check the list of the things that are important, whether or not you need to travel light or you're going for a long vacation. Then just make sure that you have everything with you, especially also don't forget contact numbers, where you're going, people, contact numbers for the people left behind to call you and access you. Take care of your home, make sure everything is okay, prepared. Have a house sitter, make sure that your house sitter is reminded to what time they're coming to house sit if you need one. With the Six of Swords, it's not just also about physical travel, but some of us are also sort of like transitioning into a different phase of our lives, wherein if we have been in a quite roller coastery situation, or a little bit traumatic or a little bit turbulent, then we should be happy and we should be looking forward to the next phase, because starting Monday, the energies will be helping us to transition into a more peaceful state in our life, wherein it will be more calm, and there will also be people with us to help us and give us support. On Tuesday, the energies would require us to exercise our virtue or gift of strength. So when we say strength, it's not just talking about physical strength, but usually it also talks about spiritual and mental strength. So when you do have some challenges, it is understandable to sometimes feel and question, why me? Why again? I never find rest. It's just one after the other. But maybe because the way that we need to think is because we have been gifted with strength, and those challenges are just opportunities for us to harness whatever gift we have, the strength, to practice it, to make it even further stronger. So that, when we have these challenges and when we have the strength as a gift, I always believe that there is something greater than us that we need to do in the future. Hence, all the challenges, all this practice to make sure that the gift of strength is really solid, so that when we assume that position wherein we are needed or called to do something greater than us, then we can make sure that we follow through and even finish it up to the end. On Wednesday, it is quite a very positive and very productive energy for all of us. It is an energy that we can nurture and cultivate, and if we have projects that we've been thinking of, then rewards will come in. The Empress is also talking about the women or the people in our lives, not necessarily women, could be man with, who is in touch with his feminine side, but people who are quite caring. And maybe it is high time for us to remember them and also give back. I'm talking about maybe our mother or somebody who is like a mother to us, who has always been there, provided us with moral support, wisdom, taken care of us. It is high time for us to remember them and make sure, life is busy, yes, but it would be fantastic if towards the end of the week we can sort of like schedule ourselves and call them up and visit them for dinner, for lunch, for coffee. So it is good to always remember and appreciate those people around us. And going back to the energy, the Empress, okay, make sure you're wrapping up the stage of your project, and once you do that on Wednesday, it is very likely that it will be very successful. And it's not just successful, but you will also be able to convince other people of your capacity and ability, and you will convert them into your allies. So the energy for Wednesday is very positive and productive. And also for those who are praying for, blessings in terms of a baby, then I think Wednesday is the best time to try, okay? Because the energy of the Empress would bless you, would bless your sharing of love and your desire to have a child. So just try. It would be a fantastic time. But of course, I'm not sure if you pray or if you wish. People call it differently. But just try to communicate with whoever the center of your faith is on Wednesday and imbibe the energy of the Empress and ask to bless you with a child, and hopefully it will be granted. I'm not saying it is 100% foolproof, but it's just the energy is quite helpful and encouraging on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have here the Page of Cups, which is basically talking about our affection, an offer of love, our emotions towards the people around us. It's not necessarily always romantic, okay, but it is about our emotions and how we convey it, or perhaps we receive a message of affection from somebody else. But the energy for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is about not just affection, giving affection and receiving affection, but also making sure that you also appreciate yourself. We appreciate ourselves, okay? In order for us to be able to receive, then we should give. But in order for us to give, we have to have enough for ourselves. So since it's the Page of Cups, the energy needs nurturing. So it means if you're talking about how you appreciate yourself, you have to work at it. If you're talking about conveying your affection to somebody else, it means that you also have to work for it. Meaning, if you want it to become stronger, then always be consistent. Do it not just on Thursday, but continuously. But Thursday would be a great start. On Friday, we have here the Tower. Okay, what is the influence of the Tower? The influence of the Tower is basically talking about forced change. Okay, so the energies on Friday would be about forced change. People never like change. We always avoid change because, sometimes we get too comfortable and we would like to stay where we are. But if that's the case, then change could come to us in a forcible manner, and it will always be very uncomfortable, unpleasant, and even traumatic at times. So with the energy of the Tower on Friday, it would be best for us to seek change, be proactive, not wait for change to come to us, but we should always be on the lookout for change, which means also to improving ourselves, improving our situations, helping others. If for example you see that you can give back to community, don't wait for other people to come to you and ask for your help. If you can go out there and find a cause that you can volunteer, then fantastic. If for example you know for a fact that there are things that you need to improve in your life, maybe go back to school, learn new experiences, enhance your skills, then it is high time for you to seek ways to do that and not wait for a situation wherein it will be forced upon you, because sometimes we get so busy, and when change comes in and with all this busyness, then everything goes haywire. So with change, be proactive, seek it, go out there and try to improve things all the time. And on Saturday, we have the Knight of Pentacles. After the forced changes happening on Friday, then the Knight of Pentacles is like a message of the energies trying to encourage us to seek slow, steady progress. The Knight of Pentacles of all the knights, is a very reliable energy. It is also encouraging slow but sure steps, but it is not, the efforts are not immature. The efforts are quite, let's say, mid-level, and you just need to continue to sort of like improve it. Meaning, one example, you have a project, and you're midway to the project. With the Knight of Pentacles' energy, then it is high time for you to continue. If there are setbacks, just don't mind the setbacks, but apply a very grounded approach to it, because the Pentacles is always about groundedness, practicality, some things that are workable, not just, high expectations or airy-fairy thoughts, but the Pentacles is always something about practicality and things that you can actually work with. Something that is executable easily, but at the same time, it doesn't require a huge leap of faith. It is a constant effort. So just, as I said, if it's a project, then just continue. Do what you need to do. Focus. Do not lose focus, and just keep giving your energy, and pretty soon the Knight of Pentacles will become the Queen of Pentacles, and even the King of Pentacles. So the energy for Saturday is slow but steady growth. Do not be impatient, just do the things that you need to do. So that is our weekly focus. You can also do your own weekly focus. If you have a tarot card, just get one card every day. You don't need to know how to interpret the tarot. If you have a tarot card, it always has a little white book or a companion book, And you can look at the meaning of the card and apply it with your own situation, you know. It's not a spoon feeding kind of a meaning wherein it has to be exact. The message of the tarot is always applicable in different situations, but you have to discern it. Okay, you have to discern it, but it is also a good practice. So if you have a card and a companion book, you can do this for yourself every week, every day. It is not about what is going to happen or foretelling the future that can never be, but we're just talking about the influences, the energies that could be surrounding us for the coming week. And once you have this weekly focus, then you are prepared in advance. So it's like, okay, the energies are tending towards this kind of situation. Well, I know, then you always have plan A, plan B, and plan C. So weekly focus is a good exercise. I'll be back shortly. I'm not sure if there are people out there, but since this is just the initial webcast, I'm now going to flash on screen the numbers that you can call, or if you have Skype, it is always better if you do it through Skype, calling in your question, because it's always clear. You can also try the phone numbers that will be flashed on the screen, but it's not as clear. So if you have a Skype, I advise you to use Skype. Okay, here's the Skype detail and the other phone numbers details that you can call. Okay, anyway, if there are people with questions, you can also go to my website, which is tarotzamm.com, or www.tarotreader.co.nz, and there's an online message system there wherein you can just also ask your question. In the meantime, we'll go to the affirmation of the week. It's such a great affirmation because it encourages us to improve ourselves and not spend any more time bashing other people or focusing on bad mouthing them, or all this ill will or ill feelings. So this affirmation says, practice rather than preach. So practice is better than preaching, because when you practice, then you act. When you preach, you just speak. But when you practice, you do, and that is a huge improvement. Thoughts are good. After thoughts, speaking maybe, but the ultimate thing for us to manifest how we are as a person, or how our improvements have affected us or helped other people, is through practice. It also says here, make your life an affirmation defined by your ideals, not the negation of others. Instead of also comparing ourselves with others all the time, perhaps it is best for us to focus on what we have and try to enhance our skills. Look at the problem areas in our lives and just focus on those things, but not on a negative way, but trying to find some things to improve them. It is also another way of being grateful and appreciative of what we have, and because if we are appreciative of what we have, then we use it. We use it for the good of a lot of people. It also says, the affirmation says, dare to the level of your capability, then go beyond to a higher level. It also keeps us active. It is encouraging us to be proactive, meaning if we have achieved a form of improvement in our skills or in our status in life, it doesn't mean that after that we have to slack off or be complacent. It means just keep continuing, keep finding new experiences, always learn new things, always improve us as people. It is not just also confined to ourselves as people, but also how we affect others, our environment, our animal friends. So look at the whole totality. Look at the whole totality. So again, the affirmation is really positive. Practice rather than preach. Make of your life an affirmation defined by your ideals, not the negation of others. Dare to the level of your capability, then go beyond to a higher level. This affirmation came from Alexander Haig. Mr. Haig, okay, born December 2, 1924 and February 20, 2010. Sorry, that's the date he passed away. He was a United States Army general who served as the United States Secretary under President Ronald Reagan and White House Chief of Staff under Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. Mr. Haig also served as Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, the second highest ranking officer in the Army, and as a Supreme Allied Commander Europe, commanding all U.S. and NATO forces in Europe. So Mr. Haig is a person of character, obviously. Everything is based on his life and his experience, and I hope we can also do the same. The affirmation should be manifested in our deeds, in our lives every day. It's not just the affirmation that we memorize or we try to keep repeating every day, but it's actually the practice of it. So I love what Mr. Haig said, and I hope you stick to it for this week. Try to practice instead of preach, and see what happens in a matter of 7 days. I'll be back again. Okay, thank you very much for joining me tonight. This is just an initial pilot test broadcast or webcast, so we will learn from it. I will webcast again next week until we sort of are able to fine-tune the way we will deliver this Tarot Zamm show. So it'll be at the same time, 6 p.m., which will be on the 21st of July. I will put the announcements on my website and also on my Facebook page, Tarot Zamm page. And you can also email me your questions beforehand, and hopefully I can also answer them the next webcast. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy your evening. If you're in Wellington, maybe try to keep warm and try to keep dry. If you're gonna go out, make sure you take care of yourself. Drive carefully. If you're gonna go out with friends, don't drive. If you're gonna drink, have somebody else drive for you. Okay, so enjoy and have a good evening. I'll see you again next week. By the way, this webcast is recorded, so you can also watch it on my website, just in case. So I expect some of your emails for next week, and good night. Many blessings to you all.